Hello everyone, back to today's third video doing GavsWeatherVids Sunday Round Up for today's third video. So it's also on Sunday, your eclectic mix. This that we're looking at things like sea surface temperature, anomalies, solar activity, QBO, NEO, AO, and the weather next 10 to 14 days and beyond. I shall get on it for you very shortly. We are without certain elements that we often have in the videos because we've gone through the British summertime, and it means that everything's updated an hour later. I'm going to get on with the recording. You know, I can't delay this too late into the day. So we are going to be able to show you the options on the table within the ECM ensembles in this video. We are going to be able to show you the precipitation type forecast based on the ECM run from Tibetio.com, and won't be able to show you the not going very good, is it? We won't be able to show you the weeklies from GFS Easter. I'll try to put all of that into the live stream tonight. We are going to be streaming from 6 o'clock this evening, so anything that I've not been able to include in this Sunday roundup, I will try and get into the live stream from 6 o'clock tonight. You know, it's one of those things where you go through the British summertime, everything updates an hour later for me, and so it's a bit of a nuisance, really. I would much prefer to stay in GMT. Actually, it's far more useful for me, GMT. You know, with everything updating that hour earlier, but now of course it's all updated an hour later, which isn't very helpful. Never mind. I'll show you anything that I can't show in this video. I shall try and show you in the live stream later on. So first video released today was of course our new feature, doing a daily weather forecast video, just a couple of minutes. You know, having a look at weather the next few days. So have a look at that one. It's released at 7 AM this morning. Nice early riser, and of course the summer update was released today. As well, so our fourth summer update. It's a bit of a solar special, this one, quite a big update. So have a look at the summer update if you have not yet done so. And as I said, going to be live streaming from 6 o'clock tonight, so I shall see you for our live stream at 6. Right, we're going to start our Sunday Round Up with solar activity. Just how a solar disk is looking on our side of this day from solarham.net. Got two little sunspot areas, one there and one there. They are really small, so solar activity is at very low levels and is expected to remain at very low levels for the next 3 days as well. This is the GavsWeatherVids solar activity tracker sent through by good friend James at Grill Keeper of the Solar Tracker. So the orange line depicting each individual day's worth of sunspot activity. We've been talking about this in the videos over the past week or two. We are now sustaining solar activity, but at a very low level. So you see that virtually every day now has sunspots, but as only a small level of them, if you see what I mean. So we're sustaining a small level of solar activity now into the second year of solar cycle 25, which you would expect in year 2. Of course, our trend lines, you have the thick green and thick red lines. They're sort of lifted up over the past month or so, but are now actually flatline, or maybe even dropping ever so slightly, but I don't think that's particularly significant drop. I think we are sustaining a decent, you know, we are sustaining a level of solar activity, but at a low level, if you see what I mean. So thank you so much to James for sending through the solar activity tracker. Who am I today? So it's Gav Hulk today, from Rich. Thank you so much for turning me into the Hulk today, Rich. Right, so this is how spotless days and the current spotless stretch are currently looking. So for the current spotless stretch, it is 0 days, as we had a sunspot yesterday, and we've got one today as well. For the year overall, for 2021 in total, we have 32 days so far this year without any sunspots. That is 37% of the year, but the percentage is gradually reducing. In 2020, I had 208 days throughout the whole year without sunspots. That's 57% of the year, and our solar minimum year, of course, was in 2019, which had 281 days, 77% of the year without sunspots. So you can see that solar activity is gradually creeping up now, albeit at a low level. Thank you so much to James and to Richard for the data. Thanks, James and Rich. Right, this is how the oceans were looking. We did last week's Sunday Roundup. So we've got our 3 areas of interest. Got the ENSO region just here. We've got the Northern Pacific over here, got the North Atlantic over here. We did look at the Indian Ocean last week, by the way. We won't look at that again for a few weeks now, but we looked at the Indian Ocean last week, so if you want to know what's happening in the Indian Ocean, then have a look at last week's Sunday Roundup. Let's deal with the ENSO region first. We'll see what's going on there and what's happened over the past week. So that's how things looked last week. This is how things look this week. Now, possibly over the past week, we've seen a bit of a strengthening again of the La Nina signal. Means cold and average sea surface temperature anomalies creeping their way along the equatorial Pacific. What do you think, everyone? Let me know in the comments. I think over the past week we've possibly seen a little bit of a strengthening of the La Nina signature, especially so in the eastern part of the equatorial Pacific Ocean. So, you know, with borderline ENSO neutral to slight La Nina conditions. What we've also seen over the past week is the Northern Pacific getting colder. So again, if we go back to last week, this is how things were looking in the northern and northeastern Pacific Ocean. Let's have a look at the latest. You see that sea surface temperatures, if anything, have got colder in this northeastern corner of the Pacific Ocean and possibly around here as well. This is a cold PDO, Pacific Decadal Oscillation signature that we've got going on here. So yeah, Northern Pacific has turned pretty cold in response to the La Nina. You know, the La Nina has an overall cooling effect on not just the Pacific but the wider oceans eventually, although it takes a while. So yeah, I think that is in response to the La Nina. Over in the North Atlantic, I don't think there's been much change over there. Again, let's have a look at how things were last week on the 19th of March. That's how things looked in the North Atlantic last week. This is the latest. So again, not really all that much in the way of changes there. It's generally warmer than average in most parts of the Atlantic. Still a little bit cooler off the coast of Africa, but that looks like it's shrinking and diminishing. Really, the tropical Atlantic looks generally quite warm again at the moment, and going towards the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico too. That all becomes important as we get into the summer. If we continue with warm and average sea surface temperature anomalies through like the tropics and the Gulf of Mexico, then we have to think about another big hurricane season, but it's far too early to think about that at the moment. Going northwards into Northern Atlantic again, just looks generally quite warm, really warm and average. Those SST anomalies through most parts of the North Atlantic. So again, I don't think there's been all that much change in the North Atlantic over the past week. Really, most areas remain above average sea surface temperature anomalies. This is how the SOI is currently looking. Summer Oscillation Index from the Queensland Government, part of Bureau Meteorology. So we know that a couple of weeks ago, the SOI went into a more negative phase, bringing to an end the La Nina and shifting the atmospheric setup more towards El Nino. Example, 13th of March went down to minus 11 with the SOI. 16th of March went down to minus 5, for example. 19th of March went down to minus 2. And so on. So we have had a period of negativity of the SY. Although in more recent days, over the past week, actually the SY has been in a more positive phase. Again, remember, when the SY is positive, the atmospheric setup will be reflective of La Nina. When the SY is negative, the atmospheric setup will be reflective of El Nino. So on the 20th of March, the SY went positive at 5.79. Has generally stayed in positive territory since. 22nd of March plus 9.81. 25th March plus 8.28. 26th March plus 9.57, 27th of March plus 9.62, and so on. So that's probably why the sea surface temperature anomalies have cooled. The La Nina signature has strengthened a little bit over the past week because the atmospheric setup has been more towards La Nina. Nevertheless, we're at the end of this La Nina event now. We are more or less back to ENSO neutral. As we always do in the spring. You go back to neutral and then you wait to see where you're going to go through the remainder of the year. This is how things look in terms of Eurasian snow cover. So the snow line has now pulled back to the west of Russia, much of Scandinavia, away from southern Sweden anyway, still largely covered with snow. I've still got some snow in Europe. Most of it is over mountainous areas such as the Alps. There is still a little bit left across this southeastern part of Europe as well. Most of western
Europe is pretty snow-free. In terms of Arctic sea ice, this yellow area just here, let's have a look and see how that's doing. This is from National Snow and Ice Data Centre. So we're below average, of course. We're below our long-term 30-year average. Averages. We know that. Been looking at this over the past few months. So the blue line is where we currently are in terms of Arctic sea ice extent. That's 2021. Let's see how that compares to recent years. So this is 2020, very close to 2020 for total Arctic size coverage at this point of the year. That is 2019, very close to that year as well. This is 2018, actually a little bit above 2018, I think. Yeah, we're a little bit above 2018 for Arctic sea ice extent. That's 2017, we're a little bit above 2017. 2016, let's see, it's always a job to make these out if you have too many lines. So you get 2017, 2018, so 2016, very close to 2016 for sea ice extent. That is 2015, probably a little bit above that one. Let's get rid of those two and have a look at 2014. So we're very close to 2014, maybe a little bit below it. That's 2013. Now we're quite significantly under 2013, or quite a bit under 2013. As far back as we go is to 2012, and we're well under 2012 for this point in terms of Arctic size extent. So you see, we're very close to previous years in terms of Arctic size extent. The last few years are all comparable to where we are right now in terms of Arctic size extent. We are beginning to move in towards melt season now, of course. So over the next sort of 5-6 months, Arctic size will diminish, and we shall reach our low point for this year in terms of Arctic size extent in early September. And we wait to see what kind of melt season we're going to have this year. Right, this is how the QBO is currently looking. This is from NASA. So next week we will have the QBO number in for March. That's going to be interesting, isn't it? So you have to think that like these are the levels of the atmosphere. So this is 10 HPA in the stratosphere, right at the top of the strat. 30 to 50 HPA is the important level of the troposphere. That's where weather is taking place, between 30 and 50 HPA. That's like the boundary level of the atmosphere that we call the troposphere, and that's where weather takes place, of course. So at the moment, we've got a westerly QBO continuing in the troposphere, this sandy coloured area just here. That is the continuing signature of the westerly QBO. The easterly QBO remains in the stratosphere, where it has been for months and months and months. This period just here, that's back in larger dates on bottom of the chart, because in monthly periods. This period should have seen the easterly QBO descending, but it failed. It did not descend properly, and the westerly QBO just continued in the troposphere and then strengthened through the second half of 2020. But the easterly QBO has always been lurking in the stratosphere, above the troposphere. The easterly QBO has always been there. Does look as though this easterly QBO is strengthening and starting to descend a little bit as well. If we zoom in and go to just here, you'll be able to see that it looks definitely like the colours, the blue colours, are becoming more intense, doesn't it? It looks like ECQBO is intensifying and possibly starting to push down towards the troposphere a little bit as well, I think. So we are beginning to see not only a strengthening of the ECQBO in the stratosphere, but possibly it is starting to show signs of beginning to try and move back down in towards the troposphere. We haven't yet gone into an ECQBO at all. We still have a westerly QBO, but possibly we're seeing westerly QBO weakening a little bit and the ECQBO strengthening a little bit. So we wait to see whether this ECQBO will take off into the summer. Will the ECQBO be able to develop this time? We shall wait and see. And we'll keep you updated, of course. Right, Arctic oscillation observed and forecast next. So again, as with all of these indexes, this one is just an index that's reflecting the atmospheric state, doesn't drive anything. So in terms, just tells what the atmosphere is doing. So when the AO is positive, we'll have low pressure over the Arctic, over the pole. When the AO is negative, we'll have high pressure blocking over the Arctic and over the pole. At the moment, the AO is in a strongly positive phase. You can see that the Arctic oscillation is actually going to go negative, though, as we move into the early part of April. So there is quite a significant reduction of the Arctic oscillation taking place there. And this is probably telling us as we go into early April, we may be seeing a re-emergence of some northern blocking. Actually, we may find some northern blocking beginning to come back. So we lose this positive, strongly positive AO, and we go to neutral and possibly into a negative AO through the early part of April. Again, that will be a signature for blocking to return. The LEO looks like it's also on the move as well. Again, this is just an index that's reflecting atmospheric state, doesn't drive anything in its own terms, just tells us what the atmosphere is doing. So the NAO is also in a positive phase at the moment, and has been over the past 6 weeks or so. But the GFS ensembles are forecasting the NAO is also going to go to neutral and then possibly into a negative phase through the first half of April. So it looks like both of the indexes could be moving into negative territory for April, which is a change, and probably a change to something maybe more unsettled and maybe a little bit colder as well as we're going into the early part of April. Right, let's do some forecast. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. Next couple of weeks. The red line is 30-year upper air temperature average for London. We're starting off milder than average at the moment. In fact, it's going to become warm over the next couple of days. We talked about this in yesterday's video. I think we'll be seeing temperatures into the low 20s Celsius in London on Tuesday across southern eastern parts of the country. After that, temperatures declining through the rest of the week. So as we go into the Easter period, this period just here, looks like we're going below average, going colder than average, and generally looking quite chilly really through the first week of April. Maybe not quite as cold, clear-cut cold signals though as we had yesterday. I'll show you the data in a moment. The models are possibly backing off the idea of that big old northerly blast bringing in the minus 10 Celsius ice melt. Although some of the GFS ensemble members are doing that, generally, I think the GFS and its ensemble has eased off the gas a little bit on that massive northerly plunge. Nevertheless, it does look as though we are going to be going into a cooler or cold than average period through the first week of April, and starting to become a little bit more unsettled as well. Over the next few days, going to be plenty of dry weather down in the southeast. This precipitation, these precipitation spikes here, like the cold front that's going to lower the temperature on Wednesday. Then after that, it gradually starts to turn more showery into the Easter period as we go further on into April, turning more unsettled. Temperature anomalies on 28th of March and 5th of April are going to be slightly above average. We are in for a couple of very warm days on Monday and Tuesday in particular. Precipitation anomalies on the 28th of March and 5th of April, driving average in the south, a little bit wet average in the far northwest of Scotland. Latest wind flow map from earthnullschool.net shows that westerlies continue, and they are pushing in from the southwest now, these winds. So we are going to start to drag up much milder air from the southern part of the Atlantic. That's going to be pushing up towards us in the next few hours, lifting up the temperature, and it's the start of things getting really quite warm for Monday and for Tuesday in particular. But this is how UK Met is looking for Wednesday. So by Wednesday, the high pressure is pulling out to our northwest. We're bringing a cold front in from the north, and that will start to drop the temperature through the middle part of the week. We get through into Thursday. High pressure is out to our northwest in a different air mass on Thursday, bringing in the wind from an east or northeasterly direction. That'll be a much cooler wind direction, although at that point, not particularly cold. High pressure then sits out to our west. We start to try and pull in some northerly winds on Good Friday. And we've got a bit of a northeasterly coming in on Saturday. Now, this isn't as cold. This northeasterly is not as cold as it was forecast to be like a couple of days ago, because the air is still originating from like the Atlantic a little bit with this. So the air is still originating from around here. It's not going to be mild, but it's not as cold with this initial sort of northeasterly for Friday and Saturday as it looked like it could be a couple of days ago. But the proper cold air is still passing to our east and northeast. Through there. Right, that's the UK Met. Let's have a look at the GFS midnight. Again, we can't show the 6Z. It's only just starting to update as we're doing this. Now we're into BST. Everything's updating an hour later, as I explained at the start of the video. Right, so this is how the GFS midnight run is looking. So high pressure out to our northwest, bringing winds around that high pressure from an easterly direction on Thursday. We'll be feeling a lot cooler through the second half of the week compared to the first half of the week. High pressure again away to our northwest on Saturday. Round that ridge comes in northeasterlies, which will be quite cool, but at this point not desperately cold. Now, as we go through to Easter Sunday and up into Easter Monday. This high pressure pushes northwards into Greenland, and we're going to have a go at dropping in very cold air from north. By the way, this is raising some eyebrows at the moment, what's going on with this Greenland high. So I think we're getting the central pressure there to around 1,085 millibars. Some of the more recent out has actually been taking the central pressure over Greenland up to 1,090 millibars. I did see one model yesterday, I think it might have been one of the GFS runs, maybe 12Z, but actually got the central pressure, or the highest pressure, to 1,100 millibars over Greenland, which would be an all-time record, no doubt about that. I think 1,085 millibars would probably be a record-breaking pressure for Greenland. So a very, very intense area, blocking area of high pressure, trying to set up over Greenland through the course of this Easter, and trying to push down very cold air from the north, courtesy of this area of low pressure south of Iceland. So the upper air temperatures look for Easter Monday at midnight. So very, very cold air gathering to the north that will plunge southwards if this low pressure comes southwards. Let's see what happens. Well, the low pressure does plunge southwards, tries to pull in those very cold northerlies, but the low pressure kind of gets stuck over the top of the UK on this GFS run. So there's the very cold air associated with those northerly winds passing down into the North Atlantic, and the low pressure, because it's stuck there over UK and Ireland, just keeping that coldest of the air at bay a little bit. This is very unsettled. It would bring lots of heavy rain, and it's kind of, if anybody remembers the floods of Easter April 1998 through central England, it's kind of similar to that pattern actually, where you've got a clash of air masses and you're trying to dig cold air in from the north. Very, very similar to the Easter floods of 1998 through central England, which I remember well because Northampton was very badly hit by those floods. So this is a very similar situation to that the GFS is going for. And if it came off, you'd probably expect heavy snow for northwestern parts of the country. You would expect heavy rain as well on the boundary between the two cold air masses. Let's hope it doesn't come off and produce those kind of floods. Again, there's the upper air temperatures for Wednesday the 7th of March. You see how that low pressure is just delaying the coldest of the air getting in from the north. Eventually, we just continue unsettled with this GFS midnight run, actually with further low pressure ploughing in from the United States. It could be quite a wet first half to April if that comes off. This other GEM is looking again high pressure away to our northwest through the middle part of the week, turning cooler as we bring in these northeasterly, easterly winds. They will be cooler compared to what we've had over previous days, but not as cold through the early part of the weekend as it looked like it would be sort of yesterday and the day before. Now we get through to the second half of the Easter weekend. High pressure begins to push up towards Greenland, and in comes these northerly winds. So it's a cold front through here. Behind that cold front, yeah, the air turns much colder from the north. The GM does actually successfully complete this northerly, unlike the GFS. So by the time we get through bank holiday Monday, it's midnight on Tuesday, we have actually pushed these cold northerly southwards through the UK. Minus 10 cells isotherm is pushing south through the northern half of the country. Minus 5 cells isotherm is down into central parts of England, and so it goes cold and unsettled from the north in the second half of the Easter weekend with the GM. All areas cold there by day 10. So the GM is successfully still completing that northerly over Easter. And then the ECM looks like that. So again on Wednesday we will start to lower the temperature as we pull the wind around to the east and to the northeast. It will be a cooler air mass. A lot of dry weather for the second half of the week with high pressure out to our west. It will be a little bit on the chilly side, but the proper cold air is still over Scandinavia on Good Friday and into Easter Saturday. Eventually, the ECM also takes that high pressure up to Greenland at 1,065 millibars, very intense area of high pressure. There's the cold front that's going to try and introduce those northerly winds midnight on Easter Sunday, just trying to get into the far north of Scotland. What happens after that? Let's have a look. So northerly winds do start to plunge down across the country through the course of Easter Sunday into Easter Monday. There's some minus 10 cells isotherm into Scotland. And we do push those cold northerlies into the northern half of the country. An area of low pressure and starts to develop to the south. That will delay those the coldest of the air, the cold northerlies getting into the south, and will bring heavy rain into England and Wales. Again, this is very, very similar to April 1998, with the cold air digging in from the north, the mild air trying to come up from the south. There'll be a boundary, a weather front that marks boundary between the two air masses that will produce heavy rain, and possibly on the northern edge some heavy snow as well. So this is all very, very much shades of April 1998, today's model output. Finishing up with a very intense deep area of low pressure to our west, and again possibly brings heavy snow to the north and maybe heavy rain further southwards as well. Right, let's just see if this is updated yet. When I started this recording, it was still showing, it's still showing the 12Z for Meteo.com. So this is the precipitation type forecast from yesterday's 12Z ECM run. So I'll just show you that anyway, shall I? Just show you that anyway. But this is not like the latest, it's not based on the latest GFS run, well, unfortunately. So actually, I don't think that's updating for some reason. Let's try and refresh that again, shall we? And see whether we can bring you this. Well, this is out of date. This is out of date. So it's not today's ECM run. There we go. So this is from 12Z yesterday. This is what the ECM was showing yesterday for the midday run. So rain into the north and west over the next few days. That's cold front coming south, low mid temperature into the middle part of the week. Then we go drier into the Easter weekend. It starts to turn colder with snow into the north in particular as we run up towards day 10. So again, I'll try and bring you the midnight precipitation type forecast based on the midnight ECM run when we do the live stream at 6 o'clock. And also, so we get rid of that. Also, I will try and bring you the week clears from the CFS V2 as well on the live stream. I can show you the CFS V2 latest monthly forecast for April though. So this is how the 700 millibar height anomaly is currently looking for April via CFS V2. Above average heights to our north and northwest. So an anticyclonic month, but again not overly mild, bringing in the wind from like a northeasterly type direction. It means that the temperature anomaly for April from the CFS V2 looks like that, overall close to average, maybe even a little bit on the cool side. And the precipitation anomaly, no signal. I mean, probably still quite a dryish month as high pressure is dominating, just that high pressure is not in a particularly mild or warm position. Okay, so if you enjoyed this Sunday Round Up, then please can you smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe to our channel for any future weather content. If you do that, tell your friends and family to subscribe as well. Thank you so much, everybody. And drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. Right, so we're going to be back at 6 o'clock with our live stream. So obviously, going to be a lot of interest in terms of what's happening with the 12Z. So we'll bring some 12Z data on the live stream in terms of what's happening over Easter. We'll also bring you some long range. Of course, it's a Sunday live stream, so I've got to do some long range. We'll show you some data for summer 2021. Almost certainly, I would have thought, from CFS V2. And we'll just check in and have a bit of a chat and see how we're all doing for an hour on this Sunday evening. So I'll see you live at 6 for the Sunday Roundup, though. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.